All right, want to make another video in my Modern Educator series. And this one is about a conversation I had with a friend who is not a teacher, but they brought up an interesting point that I'd like to explore some more. So I was having a conversation over the summer about my AP students. And, naturally, I just got my AP numbers, so I was excited to share them. And I told them that, about half my students passed the AP test. And then they're like, oh, well, tell me about, your students, especially tell me about the students who didn't pass. And I told my friend, you know, yeah, I sort of expected about half the kids would pass because, to be honest, I knew about halfway through the school year that just some kids weren't pulling their weight and they probably weren't going to pass the test. So my friend brought up an interesting point saying, well, Corey, if you knew half of your kids weren't going to pass halfway through the year, and, doesn't that necessitate that you're a bad teacher? Because you sort of created these two camps, like the passing camp, the not passing camp, and you gave up on the not passing camp. And it's not true. I did not give up. I will try with every kid every day. But in the back of my mind, did I know some of those kids weren't going to make it? Well, yeah, I knew. I knew because they weren't doing their homework. I knew because they weren't getting effective grades on my tests. If you were failing my class overall, you definitely did not pass that AP test. And I tried to explain this to my friend, but they kept bringing up this point saying, your role as an educator should be to take those kids who are failing, who aren't making it, and to bring them up, because really, what skill does it take for you to take a kid who's sort of already passing and to just keep them passing? And that was an interesting point. Is my job really about just cruising along, or is it about bringing kids up? Um, and of course, I feel like answering bringing kids up. I know I have. I know I personally have. I have had students who have said, I have hated history every day of my life until I got your class. Now it's my favorite subject. And, it does make me feel great when I hear stuff like that. It makes me know that I am inspiring some kids to bring them up, you could say. Um, but yeah, it is interesting that whole idea is brought up because I this year I am way more on point with my AP students. I am, the kids who are at risk of failing. I am calling home. I am talking to counselors. I am getting involved. I'm not going to let the same thing happen last year where I'll admit I wasn't as I don't know what to say, motivated or engaged. And here's the thing, I don't want to have to yell at kids. I don't want to get upset with kids. I don't want my blood pressure to increase. I will calmly go to a student and say, "Hey, you are not working. Would you like to participate in my class today?" They will say no. They will refuse to listen to me. I'm not going to bring it up a couple notches. I don't think that a negative attitude ever inspires kids to learn. Because really they could just totally shut down. And I've gotten in some yelling matches over the course of my career as an educator. Not a lot, but it's happened, and almost every time I don't win. It just it's tough working with kids who don't want to work back with you. And I give a whole lot of credit to the educators who are in those communities where there is sort of this culture of anti-education, and where so many kids refuse to even show interest. And the heck, I have some of those kids this year. Some kids who just, even on day one, didn't even want to try. Didn't want to try with me. Who is this white guy to teach us the world? And I think that's the attitude some of them have in their heads, and it frustrates me. And look, that's a very minority amount of my students, and I have had students who have admitted that they are openly racist against white people, and I will I will work with them on that opinion. I will say, look, hey, all racism is bad. Um, but I'm not going to shut them down based on these preconceived beliefs. I see myself as a molder of minds. And if you are going to just be a frustrating student to me, if I'm going to put you in the fail category, if I'm going to put you in the category of you're not, you're not even trying, I will try with you even when you don't try with me. And I think that's maybe the answer I need to go for in the future. So in the future, if someone does present themselves to me and say, oh, you sort of knew certain kids would fail right from the beginning, and it's the correct answer that I should have replied with, well, I didn't know those kids would fail from the beginning. The kids themselves knew they would fail from the beginning. And that's the real truth. Peace out.